Welcome to the MLG Spring Championship Kespa Starcraft2 qualifiers. This is going to be Group B, and we're going to just show the results for the round of 32, as all of the Group B games are from round of 16 and onwards. By the way, my name is Whiplash, and I'll be casting along with Supernova Maniac for these games, so let's go ahead and check out the results here. In the first game, Fantasy, he got a bye straight into round of 32. In the second game, Youngsick goes 2-1 versus Cop. In game 3, we have a relatively unknown player, Trend, 2-1ing Light, the Wounded Stars Terran player. And in game 4, we have Best 2-0ing Rudy. And after that, Hydra 2-0 Speed, commonly known as Cure. Savage 2-0's Oregon, a player from Air Force Ace. I believe he is practicing in the Wounded Stars house right now as well.
He is back at Wounded Stars.
Yeah, back at Wounded Stars, then that means he is out of the military. So pretty cool to hear that. And in the 7th game, we have Stork going 2-1 versus Hanbin. And game 8, a bit of an upset. Hoja, the KT Rollster playing coach, Zerg player, defeats Parting.
Now, in game number 9, Labyrinth defeats Soki 2-1 as he advances into round of 16. Shine defeats Pig Baby 2-1. Dark defeats Last 2-0. Byung defeats Penguin 2-0. Roro gets a bye into round of 16 as Bear defeats Paralyzed 2-1. Su defeats Miso 2-0, and Classic takes out Rare 2-1.
Welcome to the MLG Spring Championship Kespa StarCraft2 qualifiers, round of 16, Group B. My name is Whiplash, and I'm going to be casting along with Supernova Maniac. And this Zerg player spawning in the bottom right in the blue, his name is SoO, and he plays for SKT1 T1.
His opponent is from STX SoO, trying to qualify for MLG. His name is Classic, spawning as Red Protoss on the left top position of the map. This guy, he was a Terran player back in Bird War, back in Wings of Liberty, but in Heart of the Swarm, he switched to Protoss, and he's been doing fantastic.
Yeah, I think fantastic may even be an understatement, man. He's been doing phenomenal.
His PBZ and PBT record in Pro League, undefeated.
100%, guys.
Yeah. Now, SoO is someone you should never underestimate either, because last year people said, oh, SoO is just a regular Zerg player, but he's from SK Telecom T1. And you know, SK Telecom T1 Zergs, they never do well. Except he actually made it into MLG, qualified for it, and traveled to the United States last year. Yeah,
I think SoO is one of these guys that's got a lot of potential to him. He's still, not too old. He's still kind of a younger player, and we've seen him kind of pop up here and there. I remember in one of the it was the last OSO or the second to last OSO. He made it to the round of 4 before being defeated by Zhangbi, who is the eventual champion, of course. So SoO, he has gone pretty deep in some tournaments. Round of 4 in an OSL is no easy feat. You have to be one of the best players in the world, the best of the best, to get there. So I think it's only a matter of time before we see SoO in the spotlight on the big main stage.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that some fans out there say, oh, SoO got lucky to make it into round of 4. Yes, he might have gotten slightly lucky with some, lineups here and there, but he had the skills to make it into round of 4. And
you know what? There's always a little bit of luck involved in group selection with the single individual tournaments, man.
Dude, ever OSL 2009 round of 8 Jaedong versus Flash? Everyone wanted that to be the finals, except because of the random pairing, those two met in round of 8 instead of round of finals.
Yeah, so it just goes to show, luck of the draw, the individual skill is very important, but sometimes, players are better at certain matchups, and if they get kind of a lucky draw through a tournament, they can make it deeper than they may have otherwise normally would, or even win a tournament.
So now going back to this match, we have Forge finishing up for Classic inside the main base as he's going to try to wall off at the natural with Gateway. Also, Cannon going down, but 2 Zerglings are already out on the field.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd that Classic's going for the Forge in the main base expand. It's a little bit risky, to be honest, because if you do this and the Zerg player makes like 6 Zerglings, there's a huge amount of space you can just run by and completely, mess with you. Now, look at this. It looks like Classic's decided to place a pylon where SoO wants to build his 3rd base here. He's going to be able to delay that a little bit. He'll, of course, cancel that pylon right before it finishes, and, just a little cute tactic to kind of delay his opponent's 3rd base a little bit.
But also remember, the Zergling was attacking the pylon. If those Zerglings were at the natural, he could have snuck inside the main base and started attacking some of the pros.
Yeah, but he won't be able.
Mineral line.
Yeah, he won't be able to do that anymore, though. The cannon's finished. The wall off from Classic is starting to look stronger. Not mine. Okay, there we go. He wasn't mining any gas for a little bit there, and I was a little bit concerned. And so Classic, of course, just confirming that SoO's making that third base. They're not canceling it, going for some type of roach bust.
Personally, just seeing the pylon go down at the third base to deny it for a few extra seconds made me realize that Classic is so comfortable in this matchup, even if he is down 1-0 in this scenario. Usually some people, they're more worried about putting a cannon up, putting more additional gateways at the natural if they go for the forge inside the main base. But Classic, he didn't worry. He knew that he could have the cannon up in time as long as he drew the 2 Zerglings away from his own natural.
And it looks like Classic's opting to go for the Stargate. Of course, a very common build order against Zerg players nowadays. Going for the Stargate after the normal Forge Expand. And I want to point out that Classic's wall at the natural, it's not tight. It's not airtight.
There's a small gap over there, but he sees there's no flood of Zerglings coming through right now. So there's no reason for him to secure it 100%.
I think actually Classic was actually checking there if it was airtight with his probe, trying to get it through there. But the Zerglings may be able to get through, not workers.
Oh, yeah. It's really tricky. Sometimes you think it's walled off, except there's like half a hex where the Zerglings can actually sneak in. So it's better for the Protoss players to play safe and then try to get 3 buildings at the natural. But of course, Classic, he knows what he is doing right now. He's trying to double check as much as possible. Phoenix is out on the way from Classic.
Indeed, and as we have the Phoenixes from Classic, SoO is going for the Roachborn. Just to be very defensive in case any type of early attacks or harassments come from the Protoss player on the ground. Also grabbing the Zergling speed as well. We do see Classic researching +1 attack early on here, so that could be indicative that he wants to do some sort of timing in the mid-game.
Well, this is going to be a nice timing from SoO right now because he's making up to 6 roaches. His opponent still didn't get a scout because he is too busy taking out the Overlord right now.
You're right, man. He's making up the 7 roaches now, and we have a few lings up to 14 now in production. And the Classic, he is going to supply block SoO momentarily here. The second Overlord may end up getting picked off as well and delay the scouting a little bit from the Protoss player, which is something important to point out. SoO continuing Zergling production here. It looks like we're going to be seeing a really strong timing attack from SoO, so this has to do damage or he's going to be behind.
Yeah. Thank God for Classic. He went for 3 gateways before the robo. He sees the units moving out on the map now, so now he knows what SoO is going to go for in this particular game. Of course, SoO is up 1-0 in this scenario, so he could try to risk it and then try to make this work.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that Classic decided to do a full wall off there, not relying on a single Zealot, and he's going to bring these Phoenix in here. I'd love to see him try the warp into Void Ray, and this is why you don't like to delay your Mothership Core a lot, because it's already done here, and SoO's already, hacking away at the main base of Classic here, and he's reinforcing with a lot more units.
The problem is the force fields are great, and the Roach Cannon is going down 1 by 1. The cannon does get taken out, but the wall is so great right now. And SoO actually should have went for the pylons instead of attacking some of the higher HP buildings over there. He could have broken the wall, sneak some Zerglings inside the main base, and let those Zerglings and the Roaches eat away on the cannons.
Looks like SoO's deciding to just drone up behind this. He's backing off and making a few spores at his expansions. So, this attack, it's going to put him a little bit behind, I want to say.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a full all-in, as he's making up the 5 spore close right now in the lair finish right now.
Yeah, so not in a terrible position, but in a standard game he would be a little bit more ahead overall, I'd say, as far as his tech and economy goes.
Classic's still on top of his game right now. He's just double-checking to make sure SoO is not breaking the walls down, because right now SoO has so many Zerglings out right now, but those are going to be useless as soon as the Colossus comes out.
Yeah, and we do have an Immortal, a second one on the way here, because of course the robotic space isn't complete yet. And Classic, he got the +1 upgrade completed here. Hasn't started his +1 armor or the Twilight Tech to get any additional upgrades here, but our Zerg player, he is going to go ahead and finish up a macro hatchery pretty soon here. He's getting his Roach speed, and the Hydra Den is about to finish here, so he's going to start focusing on his layer tech units and getting some of those upgrades. But the Zerglings running through here, and they're going to get a nice surround on the Sentries and Immortals there, but before doing too much damage, they're going to run away and go straight into the main base of Classic.
Now, what they see right now is a little bit crucial, because he needs to see if there's a Twilight Council or not to go for the +2, because usually around 10 minutes, they take a third base, and they go for the charge upgrades or blink upgrades for the mid to late game scenario. If SoO does not see this, then he should know that Classic is going to go for some strong push. He's getting a Colossus out right now. He still doesn't have a Twilight Council coming out, which is surprising from our Protoss player, given the fact that usually you get a Twilight Council down right now just to make sure that the Twilight Council is out for Charge, Blink, and +2 upgrades.
Yeah. Well, he's focusing on that +1 armor upgrade right now, so I'm sure eventually he'll get that pretty soon. Now, I'm actually a little bit disappointed. SoO didn't do as much damage as I thought he would with that Zergling run by there. He had a lot of lings, and he kind of like, he got in great positions, but he never actually did too much with them. He didn't kill off too many units, and he, you know, maybe killed off a probe or two, but, you know, there's that Twilight Council like we were talking about. And from the Zerg's end, he's going to complete his Hydra range, Roach speed. He's going for the +1 attack now, a little bit behind on the upgrades. Of course, that's because he went for that earlier attack in the game there, and he is going to follow this up with Hydra speed and an Infestation Pit as he transitions into more of a Hydraling composition.
So he's still making probes out. For a second, I was suspecting some 2-2-2 that all-in build with the 2 Immortals to Colossus on 2 bases, but it seems like Classic right now, he actually, the 3rd base wasn't a fake. He wants to fortify that position, as SoO also gets some nice scouting inside the main base once again.
Yep. Alright, the second Colossus is about to complete here for Classic, and he is going to finish walling off at his 3rd base there. I like how Protoss players have started walling off on this map in regards to that choke there. It's just a cool little, you know, Sim City tactic you can use in your own games if you want to kind of, you know, make it a little bit safer to take that 3rd base, which is already pretty snug if you think about it.
So we have Hive out on the way, Spire going down from SoO, as Classic is adding 3 more gateways at the natural right now, just trying to fortify that position and also get a lot more gateways over here. So that's a total of 10 gateways from Classic. Yeah,
Classic trying to pick up a few drones here and there. The Hydras are going to definitely scare those Phoenix away, however. We do have Blink on the way from our Protoss player. He's also getting that +2 upgrade out, but we have 7 Swarm Hosts in production here from SoO.
Well, 9 Swarm Hosts is okay, but the problem is there's already up to 3 Colossus out from our Protoss player Classic. And with no Corruptors mixed into this army, this looks really strong. He could hit a nice timing push when the +1/+1 finishes. In fact, it is finished right now. The Swarm Hosts are coming out on the way, but we don't see any Locust upgrades, so this is going to be really hard for SoO to defend against.
Yeah, I think it may be. I mean, if you look at the supplies, they're pretty much even right now. Yeah. The Zerg player is always supposed to be ahead of the Protoss player.
And look at the quality of the units from SoO. That's nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't have any Infestors in this army. The Fungal, the Swarm Hosts, if SoO can delay a lot of time, he can use those effectively here, but the Force Fields from Classic, his positioning here, his Blink and +2 are about to finish. He didn't even want to wait for those. He just wanted to press forward, and the Zerg army is just getting completely melted here, and I don't think there's really anything SoO can do in this scenario.
I think this is it, actually, because the 4th base right now is going to get taken out, and the problem is he can't even defend his own natural. Yes, there's an Observer here, but the Locusts are just melting away to every single Colossus shots right now.
That's unfortunate for SoO. Just imagine if he had Corruptors and more Roaches instead of the Ling Hydra, somewhat Roach, and Swarm Host composition. I think we could have seen a different game.
That's what happens if you try to delay your tech as SoO types GG.
GG.